Good morning, man. It's Super Bowl Sunday. So, they called for rain, but it ain't raining. You know, the weathermen right down here, they be killing Ray, man, with all that. Because I probably could have went over there and did that little bush pullout job today. Me and Trevor could have done it, but me and Trevor were talking yesterday about, you know, the timing and all, and he kept saying, well, it's gonna rain, man, all week long. And I'm like, oh, they always say that, but you know, usually it's not like that. But I got to look at the weather. I'm like, yeah, they're calling for, you know, more than 60% chance. But you got to look at the timing of all that. It's 60% chance today after 7 at night. I mean, you know, they're saying it's going to rain, be drizzly all day long, and there's not. It hasn't rained all night, and it hasn't rained all morning. So, you know, it'll knock your hustle. It will knock your hustle for sure. So y'all remember the other day I went and looked at that tree trim job or that limb that was down over there. And that was for, you know, commercial, a regular customer of mine that I've been doing business with for, well, probably 11 or 12 years now. Ever since they've been in, well, not ever since they've been in business, but ever since before they blew up. It's always good to nurture these relationships with some of the people that, especially the smaller businesses that you started out doing a little here and there for, and then now all of a sudden they're multi-million-dollar business and you're still doing work for them, and you have relationships with the owners before they were actually million-dollar business owners. So so they know, the owners over here know where I'm coming from. They know what I'm about. They know the history of me, and we've had a relationship since before they made big money. And if you can keep those relationships going, whether you make big money or not, a lot of times you can get a lot of work because they trust you, because you trusted them when they didn't have anything. So, or they were small. I don't want to say they didn't have anything. These guys were going to succeed no matter what they hired me or not. Now, so I do a lot of work for them, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a year. Basically just sub out to me. So I'm good with it. And I know the people that are writing the checks. It's always good to know who's writing the check when you're dealing with commercial businesses and stuff. A lot of times you never even know. If you get into some of the bigger ones, or you come in, you know, like if I were to come in now that this company is bigger, instead of when they were just mom and pop, then I wouldn't know the powers to be. You know, I would think I knew, but I really wouldn't know the demographics, the lay of the land, if you will, in that business, in that office, in that service that they provide to their customers. So me knowing all that gives me a leg up on any other contractor, even if I charge more. It does, because they know what I'm likely to do. They trust my judgment. You know, by me going over there and looking at that job the other day, and you know, just keeping it 100 with the owner, he understood that that's what I would do if I went over there. That I'm not gonna, you know, fluff numbers, and I'm not gonna you know, do jobs that are gonna potentially be detrimental to me and my business, or where I'm gonna take a hit. They know I don't do jobs where I take a hit. So they already know I'm not cheap. But they also know that, with that being said, that I'm not gonna lie to them either. And I'm not gonna, you know, charge any more than what I would charge, you know, than what I should, right? So he called me. They bought another property. He called me this morning, about 30 minutes ago, and he says, hey man, we bought another property. It's right next door to over here where you do these other two. We want to get it cleaned up and blah blah blah. Okay, so I just pulled up over here. It's a lot cleaner than what it was. It's obvious that they have already had people over here. So we're going to see what he probably just wants to, well, I don't really know. I don't know how far back he wants to go, but y'all can see this property right here is, well, pretty big too. I don't really See, look at here's some tractor attachments. Look at that old school stuff here. Now, why is there a fire hydrant right here? Is that crazy? Man. Boy, he might let me have this stuff. I love this kind of stuff. Look at that. That goes to the back of a tractor right there. And it's not mechanical, but it's the old school, basically a power rake, old school. That's some kind of plow box blade or something out there. And I don't know how far over he's going to want to go or anything. But it's always cool when I come out on properties and it's it's really an old property, you know. See, he might want to get in here. But after I bought my 75.3, they bought one. Well, he saw mine well, I was working on his property over there, one of his properties over there, and he saw my 75.3, and the next thing I know, they got one. Well, he asked me about it, if it was a good machine and all that. They had a Bobcat, but wow. And they ain't gonna tell me what you might uncover over here, man. But they're not known to really, you know, like all these brick and stuff. I don't know what he's gonna want to do with all this stuff. Look at all the vines. Wow. And then a lot of times you can find, there's all kinds of cool stuff you'll find. Pieces of steel. Look at all the steel up against the building right here. I love steel. I love it. Look at that. There's about 6 pieces of angle right there. There's some cable over there. And there ain't no telling what all is in here, y'all. Hey, I'm hoping that he'll want to come in here and cut all this. I'm hoping. Pick all this stuff up, throw it in the dumpster. Because I don't really see anything else that he can put in a dumpster. Really. But he just lives right up the road here, so he ought to be here any minute. Look at this, is a piece of wood right here, y'all. Look at that. Milled wood. What is that? Looks like you got some PEX pipe here. What is this right here? Looks like some kind of rubber belt or something. Wow, look how big these freaking oak trees are. Okay, y'all, so I'm gonna come over here and clean this up. We're not going hardcore deep. We're not doing anything on this line right here because they own that property too. He's gonna get a big dumpster out here for me and drop it out there somewhere in the driveway. Back across the back of this building here, he wants 2 rungs with the brush cutter, and he told me, he said push stuff to the property line, which is right on the other side of these big trees. So that's what he said do with a lot of this stuff. Obviously you can come in here with a brush cutter, but there's a lot of things in here. You probably want to come in here with a grapple bucket first and kind of drag it a little bit. He wants to get all the growth off the side of the building there, obviously. It's going to end up being about $3,000 over here. He told me I could have these 2 attachments here. Of course, I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. I don't need them or nothing, but I don't know. They're just cool, you know. I don't even own a tractor, so maybe when I pick them up and pull them out of here, some of you guys that's got a tractor might be interested in getting them that live close by, you know. That's heavy steel right there. I have no use for them, but I got to pick them up and get them out of here anyway, so either they can go They can go in the dumpster, or they can go to the scrap yard, or they can go to somebody that needs them. So as long as I'm getting a little something for my connect and my energy. Anyway, so yeah, he agreed to the money a little bit too fast for me, y'all. So I hope I ain't done got it, but I'm thinking 2 days over here. So you know, without saying that, that's my thinking. And then of course, well, it's going to be a regular lawn maintenance too, which is all of that. Also a burn pile. I can create a burn pile too to burn some of this debris that I pick up. But what you don't know is that a burn pile, I'll do it, but a lot of this stuff I might be able to grind up with my grinder attachment. You know, not the stump grinder, but the brush cutter. So yeah. But he's not worried about any underground nothing. He said whatever's underground here, he's not worried about it. He also wants me to smooth this out best I can with I just do that with a tooth bucket. It looks like this thing is connected. I don't know for sure. Me and him both. He said he's going to check it, have his guys turn it on and see if it's got water coming through it. It might. There might have been a road coming through here at some point, but not in a long time. Look how big those trees are. That's 8 foot, 9 foot diameter tree right there. Those are some of the biggest oak trees around, I guarantee it. I want to be able to see if I can walk up to it and show y'all. So even though today I'm not making money, I'm setting up work. So now I just got to be able to fund all the rain time, you know, where you're not doing nothing, where you don't, you know, run out of running money or whatever. But just to show y'all how big this tree is. Look at that. It's freaking huge, man. And that one too, there's 3 of them on here. So we're not trimming none of these branches. No man lift required. All I need over here is a guy on the ground and a skid steer and a lawnmower. And I'll come over here in about 10 hours and, you know, get the money. So now he told me if anything comes up to call him. You know, of course I will do that anyway. We've been knowing each other a long time, so that's another customer texting me. So, well, I guess one thing about the warmer weather, though I don't like it, it's making it where people are calling me a lot earlier than normal. So right here, we're going to remove that tank's going, and so are the crepe myrtles are going, all that there. So I'll just come up with the machine, and none of that gas is hooked up or anything right now. They said they got to put another tank in. So got that. This right here is a little field that we'll just be mowing, but I may put the burn pile out there in the middle somewhere. You just got to be careful about how deep you go on stuff like this when you're talking about the money and the time. But you could spend a week over here, or you could spend a couple of days just hitting certain spots. And I'm just showing y'all the front yard here is nothing. They're going to throw grass seed down. I'm not even going to be in the front yard other than to me, and me and him will talk about it after I do the first little rendition over here. So we ran into the same type of thing, and it got me out of doing some sketchy stuff. You got power lines right here. So he wants this, he wants to be able to see, if it makes sense, see through there. Like, you know, he wants all this low stuff down, which is nothing for the skid steer. I could do that with a lawnmower. So you need a skid steer over here, the lawnmower over here, grapple bucket, brush cutter, and he's like, man, if you run into something, you know, I'm gonna go to the other camera. I'm going. So he's like, if you run into something, let me know. You know, and the money is, well, we can move it around a little bit, you know, if because we're going in, there's a lot of unknowns, and he recognizes that. So if the money needs to be adjusted, he said just call him and we can talk about it. So you want that, and that's another thing, like I was saying about, you know, being in business for a long time and dealing with the same people, and you know, just trying to well, you're building relationships is what you're doing. And me and him I can have a much more candid talk with him than I could if that was a total stranger, because me and him, we know each other really well, and he knows what my priorities are, I know what his priorities are, and we try to, you know, get there in the middle. So that's what you want to do. But when you go in dealing with customers you don't know at all, then it starts, well, if you don't know them at all, then you don't have a foundation to go off of. And if I don't have that, then my number's it's got to be a little bit more because of the unknown. They give me so much work, I can pretty much just round it, you know. So, and then if it's if it's $100, a couple $100 off, $500 off, it ain't a big deal. He'll give me more money, you know. So he's, you know, that's what it is. So that's 2 days and 2 jobs I've lined up. So I'm talking about another $4,000, you know, that I'm going to be making here in February. So for January and February, I mean, when you look at what it costs me versus what I'm making more money and being able to keep more of the money than I would on the lawn maintenance if we were doing the equivalent of lawn maintenance. So, you know, the little old lady job, I'll do that. And then this job ain't going nowhere either. I'll do that. So, and he's not even aware of all the stuff that I can actually do. So, I mean, he knows he obviously he knows I own a skid steer, and he knows I got a bunch of attachments, but they own one too. But he has like 60 employees, so, and they got one machine, so they use it. They use it in their business. Well, they got one machine that I see. I mean, they may have more than that. They got trucks and trailers and all that. They got 60 employees, so you tell me. Yeah, they got a plethora of equipment. I mean, I'll be at or close to $6,000 for February, and I'll still have, you know, a couple more weeks left. Anyway, I got another customer texting me about something, so I need to respond to this and maybe call her and see exactly what she's talking about. I'm stoked about getting this job. This is the kind of jobs I really like to do, where I don't have to do all the little detailed finite stuff. I like doing the rough stuff and then let somebody else do all the detailed stuff. I'm not so good at, you know, doing detailed stuff up around people's houses and stuff, in the beds and all, because most of the time you can't get a piece of equipment in there to do that, and, you know, without a lot of labor. And I know I talk about it all the time, and I bitch about it all the time. You know, labor is everything out here. You know, and I don't want to have to depend on labor. So when I set myself up with jobs that require labor, then now I'm working for the labor pretty much. I'm just making more money than the labor, but I'm working for them because I can't do nothing unless they come to work. You don't want to be in that spot. This is where I want to. This is the kind of spots I want to be in. I want to be in spots where the machine can do everything. If I was 35, I'd be thinking probably a little bit different, you know. I've even thought about buying a cheap Mini X, you know, one of the little Chinese ones. I thought about it, but that kind of goes against everything that, you know, I've built the business on thus far. Number one, if I had a brand new top of the line excavator sitting in my house, what would I do with it? Number two, I don't like buying cheap shit, right? I don't. And how can I justify it, you know, right now? You know, if I had a guy coming out here working that could help me run the other skid steer and pull the equipment around and could be an operator or whatever and run jobs, then hey, I'd go want to buy another piece of equipment, you know, a Mini X or something, and then we would just put all that stuff in the best scenario to make money. I thought that's what I had last year, but man, I don't, and I don't know that I'll ever see me having that. So